Hey, welcome back to Coach Eric's Corner, episode 4. And thanks to you, followers and subscribers are doubling each episode. Nice to know this San Diego youth sports content is landing. Hey, today we are tackling one of the biggest trends in youth sports, reclassing. We're also talking San Diego high school baseball and softball playoffs with the SD Prep Insider. And we're going to break down parent involvement, how it can either make or break athletes' development. So let's get right into it. Look, if you have a middle school athlete, you've likely heard about reclassing. It's an option for parents to give typically their 8th grader a gap year to redo the year at home at a sports academy or a similar school before heading to high school as a freshman. I spoke about this with Del Norte varsity football head coach and former NFL player Nick Barnett, who runs Praxis Elite Sports Academy, where kids can spend that gap year, and here are his thoughts.
I'll tell you 4 different ways of why kids do gap years. Number 1, maturity, right? There's a lot of kids and a lot of parents that know their kids are not mature enough to be successful that first year of high school, right? They just throw them in the fire. You can throw them in the fire, right? If you want to. But a lot of kids that care, parents, they're like, okay, no, I want to give my kid a year to learn, to get bigger, to get faster, stronger. We have kids that haven't reached their maturity physically yet, and they want to play ball. And give them a year to work on that, to get bigger, faster, stronger, and at the same time, they're doing it here too, okay? We also have a kid who had an injury that was, a year recovery. Gave him an opportunity to do a gap year before he starts his high school, to be able to get healthy. We got kids that don't reclass that are just 8th graders that want to get stronger before they go to high school too. So there's a lot of that, but the gap year has been very big this year with a lot of parents. Our average age of high school athletes that get scholarships is 19. It used to be 18. You just turned 18. Thinking that we're going to get a D1 scholarship from doing this, get a D1 scholarship in general is like hitting the lottery. I always say, do your research, see what fits for you. Does it work for your son or your daughter? And make those decisions then.
That is some great perspective from Coach Barnett there, but we also have to look at the potential disadvantages. There are steep financial costs. Some of these sports academies are tens of thousands of dollars. And psychology experts warn about isolation from peer groups. Placing an 8th grader into an exclusive sports environment too early can narrow their identity before they even hit high school. But like Coach Barnett said, it's ultimately up to the parents and the athlete to decide what's right. Moving from the future of high school sports to what's happening on the diamond right now. The baseball playoffs are heating up and the talent is electric. Let's check in with Christian Peterson from SD Prep Insider for a quick update on the big playoff games and the Corners, Kings and Queens, the star athletes making noise across the brackets.
All season long, Cathedral Catholic has been nationally ranked. There's conversations about, are they the best team in section history? Torrey Pines in the Division I boys playoffs, I think, are criminally underrated even at a 4 seed. I think they should have been in the open division. They have been charging very hard in the second half of the season. They play a very tough schedule. They are going to be very, very good. In the Division II playoffs for the boys' side, I got the San Pasqual hat on. I'm either just poorly fashion coordinated or I'm rooting for them. So shout out to San Pasqual. D3 Brawley versus Mission Bay is, I think, what it's going to come down to there. And for softball, open division is now, what kind of a dynasty are we looking at for Mater Dei Catholic? Got Bonita Vista, you have Imperial, you have Point Loma, Escondido Charter, and as I said, Mater Dei Catholic. So a lot of schools that are not even D1 in other sports are open division in softball, and I think that just speaks to how deep the talent level here is in San Diego. We talked about Tyler Hoff last week from Calvin Christian. He finishes the season with a .688 batting average, number 1 in the section. Home runs, we talked about it last week, ended as a 3-way tie between Circuit, Glick, and Jace Costevens. I don't know who Jack Costevens is. I don't know why I said that last week. Slugging percentage, Tyler Hoff wins that one from Calvin Christian again. RBI leaders, Tyler Hoff. There we go. Another one. That guy had himself a great season. Runs scored, Jace Costevens. You're sensing maybe a pattern here that some of these kids had some monster years. On base percentage, Tyler Hoff from Calvin Christian. Stolen bases, Avery Gonzalez from Borrego Springs. Over to the softball side, we had a late week surge here for the last week, and Cadence Wewell from Southwest El Centro, she took home the championship belt. 14 home runs for her this year. There was 6 girls with double-digit home runs. JC Taylor from La Jolla was right behind her. JC Taylor, though, also won the titles for RBIs and slugging percentage.
We're wrapping up today with parent involvement. Now, most parents mean well, but sometimes support turns into pressure, and pressure can hold athletes back. Parents help when they provide stability, keep sports in perspective, and let coaches coach. Too many kids are hearing 5 different voices. You got coaches, you got parents, you got trainers, and they end up playing confused instead of confident. Parents also help by teaching accountability instead of blaming refs or politics. But parents hurt development when they engage in sideline coaching, obsess over rankings, or make a kid feel like love depends on performance. That creates fear, and fear kills confidence. And let's be real here, parents. You can actively hurt your kids' chances of even staying on a roster when you constantly nag the coaches or question playing time or ridicule coaches' decisions. No coach wants the drama in their dugout or on their sideline, and unfortunately, it's the kid who pays the price. Remember, parents, the goal isn't to raise the best athlete in town. It's to raise a strong, confident young adult who happens to play sports. That is the real win. Drop your thoughts on reclassing in the comments and be sure to hit subscribe. Great seeing you in the corner. Now I'll see you here at the field.